Hey bestie. Look, I get it. It is so easy to forget that you are seriously the baddest. And I know we get lost in the sauce. We start to really care about what people think about us. And the fact that you care so much about what other people think of you is seriously inhibiting so much for you. Like your ability to show up the way you want to, your ability to go for things that you want to go for. You are too busy worrying about how people perceive you. So let's dive into all the reasons why we cannot give a flying bleep, because it's not serving us and we only have one life to live, so why spend it worrying about how people view you? If you're new here, I'm Bria. I'm so glad you're here. And if you don't mind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell. I post every Saturday just for the besties. And if you'd like to support me in any other capacity, you can follow me on other platforms at heybriajones. You can like and comment on this video, and anytime there's a sponsor, you can support by clicking those links and checking it out. Speaking of sponsors, before we dive into this video, I have to shout out our friends at Audible. The theme for today's video is inspired by an Audible title I'm listening to. It's called The Courage to Be Disliked. Perfectly on brand for what we're talking about today. I'm invested in several books like this that are very motivational, self-help type of books. And I have to say, it's really nice to be able to just listen to these titles while I'm on the go. Now, the exciting news is that new members can get a free trial with Audible. And as a member, you get to choose one title every month. And with any titles that you have in your library, you can download as much as you want. Unlimited, baby. The selection of titles is infinite. There are so many different genres you can choose from. They even have other formats like podcasts if you're into that. So if you'd like to support my channel and try out a free Audible trial, you can use this URL on the screen or click on it in my description. Or you can text the code on the screen to 500-500. If you guys know any other titles that talk about how you can care less about what people think about you, comment down below if you have any recommendations. And once again, thank you so much to our sponsors at Audible. So how are we gonna get past caring about what people think about us? I think one of the most helpful things you can do is come at it from a logical standpoint. When you can dissect why you care about what people think about you, it's gonna help a ton. I'm gonna share some of the tactics that really bring me back down to earth when I start to care too much about what people think about me. I don't think I could do this job. I could not be a YouTuber. I couldn't be a content creator if I cared too much about what people think about me. And I'm not even gonna lie. There was a period in my journey, and still is sometimes, where I do care about what people think about me. And I noticed that it's very damaging to my success, because when I'm caring about how other people are gonna perceive me, I don't show up the way I need to show up. I'm not as fearless, I'm not as brave, and I'm certainly not myself, because I'm too afraid of showing people who I am, because what if they don't like it? Well, we're gonna stop caring today, okay? One of the biggest reminders I give myself when I start to care too much about what people think about me is that I'm not anyone's top priority. And don't take this the wrong way, because I'm saying it with so much love and light, but you cannot wrap yourself in the idea that you were taking up that much space in someone's mind. Even if it's true, which it's likely that it's not, you have to humble yourself in a way to understand, ain't nobody thinking about you. Do you think about other people for a majority of your day? And I'm not talking about parents or children, like that's different. But I'm saying, are you concerned with what other people are doing? Most of us should be answering no, because we got a lot of things to be concerned about. But here's the thing, there is a section of the world that does have the time. And what you need to remind yourself about those people is they are unwell, straight up. Because if you can occupy your mind with what other people are doing and you have that amount of time, those are not the kind of people that we're gonna be concerned with. Do you know why? Because we're not on the same level. And we don't need to be associating ourselves with people who aren't on our level, because typically people like that, the energy level is not where you wanna be, okay? So in order for you to care, you would have to bring yourself down. We're not gonna do that. But for the rest of the world, for the majority of the world, they do not care what you are doing. I love to refer to the trolls online, the hate commenters, because what I've realized about them is you are just a blip in their day. You are a blip in their scroll. I used to really take hate comments so personal, and I realized these people would not remember me even tomorrow. They wouldn't remember me in an hour. They put their little hate comment out there and they keep it moving because they got other people to hate on. Even if you don't have like an internet presence or anything, I'm just saying, take the concept with you that when people are spewing out that kind of stuff, it's a reflection of them. And that's why we send them love and light, because something with them is not healed. Maybe some pain, maybe some hurt, I don't know. But it's not fair for people to judge you and scrutinize you at all. But in the case that they do, try to look at it from an optimistic lens and keep it moving, because you're doing something that they can't do, clearly. We're gonna move past the idea and take ourselves off the pedestal in a good way. There's not gonna be many times, you guys, when I'm gonna suggest that you downplay yourself. In this case, I am, because I need you to wrap your head around the fact that it's not a big deal. Whatever goal you have in life, for whatever direction you wanna go, whatever you wanna do, you can only count on yourself. If you are gonna dilute yourself, you are literally in the way of your own goals. And when you think, it sounds crazy when you think of it logically. It's like, wow, I'm gonna water myself down to remain cool and accepted. And you are well aware that you're not gonna get to the place you wanna be because you're prioritizing acceptance. We really have to get comfortable with not being cool. And there's another video I did about how and why you need to embrace the cringiness. There was a point where I was like so good at this, and it was like right around the time TikTok was just now becoming a thing. I think it had just gone from like Musical.ly to TikTok, and it was so cringy to be on TikTok because this was pre-pandemic, but I was like, I know this app is gonna blow up. And when I tell you, so many people made fun of me, even my friends, but especially like people that I grew up with. Like, I knew that I was like being talked about in a negative way. And fast forward now, I've got this huge online community of people like you who I love to show up for. And I wouldn't have found you guys if I wasn't willing to be fearless and cringy for that moment. But being uncool and cringy was the catalyst to my success. Trying to be cool will keep you stuck. It's okay if not everybody thinks you're cool. Keep doing what you're doing because those people know there's something special about you. And in a couple years, they're gonna be the ones knocking on your door like, hey, can I pick your brain? If I had $1 for how many people did that to me, these same people are the ones hitting me up like, oh my God, you're killing it. You're killing it, girl. And they're the ones that are like, you wanna go get coffee? And I'm like, no. And it's not even like a hateful thing. It's just like, bruh, the energy is weird. If they weren't supporting you when you were just starting out, they're not gonna be the ones you wanna like ride with. I just think it's funny, and it just further proves how easily people can change their minds about you, which is the whole point and why you shouldn't care, because today they'll say one thing about you and tomorrow they'll be your biggest fan. And understand this, when you have something special about you, when you have a light about you, you're gonna make a lot of people uncomfortable because not everybody in their lifetime will be able to access their own light. That is a hard reality to accept in this lifetime. But guess what? The only person in the way of your light is you. You have to understand that you have to bet on yourself. You are your only option. So don't let other people dilute you because they're not gonna get you to success. You are. So why are you worried about what they think about you? They're not gonna be there at the top with you. They're gonna stay where they are because they care too much about being cool. And that is one of the most dangerous things you can do. Another reminder that really helps me is, this is kind of like wild, but everyone has their own reality. So even if you were the most amazing person on earth, we are all gonna see you differently. The reason why this is important to remember is because everyone's perception is gonna be different of you. So it literally doesn't matter what you do. Everyone's still gonna form their idea of who you are in their head. The more time you spend trying to get people to view you a certain way, the more time you're wasting. When I got canceled this year, this was a really big thing for me that I had to learn, because it's so hard to literally see your name plastered on very legitimate publications. It's really hard to see that, and it's really hard to see people speak on you that have never met you. This was one of the hardest things for me to deal with, but I'm so glad I went through it because you guys, I needed that lesson. I thought I didn't care about what people thought about me, but until you have thousands of people commenting on who you are, you really don't know. And look, it is a human response to care to a certain degree about what people think about you, but it's not normal to change how you view yourself because of what others say about you. You have to be so confident in who you are, and that takes practice. And when I had my little debacle this summer, I forgot who I was. I let them convince me of something that was not true. And I'm just so thankful that I had family and friends who rallied around me and said, wake up. They brought me in, they said, we are so proud of you. We hear you, and we're not gonna concern ourselves with that because these people don't know who you are and they don't know your heart and they don't know the situation. I mean, and that's the thing, going through that experience was also so amazing for me because it's wild to see that so many people can be for you and so many people can be against you. But the way that people choose to spin something is based on their experiences and their beliefs. So let it go. It's out of your control. What I'm trying to say is it's useless. It's useless to care what people think about you because if you put 100 people in a room, they're all gonna think something different. No matter how good of a person you are, no matter how you're doing everything right, it doesn't matter. And the only person you have to get good with is you. Do you like you? Some of y'all need to literally date yourself. Fall in love with yourself because you have to be your biggest cheerleader because again, you have to bet on yourself before anybody. Nobody's gonna carry you through the finish line except for you. So get good with you because when the going gets tough and you have a lot of noise coming around you, the only voice that matters is yours. Another thing I need you guys to remember, anytime you feel like you're being backed against the wall by what people think about you, and maybe it's not so nice, I need you to ask yourself this question. Do you aspire to be like the person who is speaking negatively about you? Do you look up to them? In some odd cases, that might be true. But I think you then need to analyze, why would you want their validation? I really asked myself, do I even want to be like this person? So why do I care what they think? 99% of the time when there is a hate comment and I click on the profile, if there's a profile picture, because half the time they don't have a profile picture, which says everything. If you have to make a fake account because you know you're a hateful little wench, I already know everything I need to know about you. You already know you're a bad person because you can't put your picture next to the words you say online. And that's sad. It really is sad that you know deep down that's fucked up. So no, I would never want to be like you. Another thing is like the hate comments will come from someone who clearly is not happy with themselves. Every now and then I get curious and I'll do a little digging on the person who leaves the mean comments, and it's very clear how they feel about themselves and their lives just based off of the little context they might be posting, or if they don't even have a profile picture. So before you take anything to heart, take a second to realize that the people who have the most to say usually are the most unhappy individuals. And I can come from a place of love and recognize that, hey, something deeper is going on and I really genuinely wish better for that person. There are people who feel victimized by the fact that they see other people quote unquote doing better than them when they don't know the full story about what other people are doing. So it's easier for them to come for your light and try to dim it than to brighten their own. Because the truth is, accessing your light, it takes a lot of inner work, it takes a lot of self-reflection, and a lot of people aren't gonna wanna do that because that's too hard. So what's easy is coming for you and trying to dim your light so that you can join their crew. It is easier to try to bring someone into the darkness than to try to bring yourself up to their light. And do not let anyone take your light. I have time and time again caught myself making myself feel small, suppressing my personality, who I am around certain people because I realize there's a different energy with how people support you or think about you. And sometimes it's like an unspoken thing where you don't even have to say anything, you just know someone doesn't fuck with you. You feel that intuition and you're like, something is off. You know what I'm talking about? But keep that in mind that like, it doesn't mean anything bad about that person. Come from love with the situation. Something that I do that might be kind of weird is when I feel or know for a fact that someone does not like me, I literally visualize sending them love. And what that looks like in my head is literally sending them, like I picture them happy. I picture them so happy and full of joy and like fulfilled in their life. I picture it in my head for them. Like I'm sending that to them. Even if they've done me wrong, whatever, I still do that because I know that if I wish anything else, I'm also bringing myself down. I'm not gonna do that. So send them love. Love is the highest vibration. It is the most powerful thing you can put out. So having a vibration of love, even in the midst of people treating you wrong, is gonna make you one powerful motherfucker. I'm sorry, it really is. Like you really are gonna be unstoppable if you can access the feeling and vibration of love, regardless of the situation. It takes a lot of strength because our ego is gonna wanna be like, we don't want to pop off, but you're better than that. And every time you decide to react with your ego, you need to remember that you are bringing your vibration down to where they are. And that's what they want. They want you to be in the darkness with them, but you have a light. You got to protect that. Do what you need to do to protect that. And then keep this in mind. Anytime you get wrapped up in caring about what people think about you, remember that this is literally an instinctive behavior that was instilled into you. So let's go back. I always like to throw a little logic in there, but let's go back to primal days, okay? Hunters and gatherers. The outsider in the group didn't usually survive. So the instinct to conform, the instinct to blend in, the instinct to not be an outsider is literally embedded in your DNA as a human because it has helped us survive. So what you need to keep in mind is that luckily we have evolved so much so to where that's not true anymore. You can be different, you can be unique, you can be yourself, and you're not gonna die. It's not that deep. So I hope these can help you transform the way you view yourself. I hope that you can also put less pressure on how people perceive you. And like I said, focus on getting good with you. And if you like you and if you're proud of you, that is all that matters. When you're a good person and you're going after things that make you happy and you're helping others, there's nothing to hate on. And anyone that is hating on that has other issues, and we gonna send them love and light, okay? Period. I hope this helps you. Stop caring about what people think about you. And like I said, drop some suggestions on any books or titles that you're loving that help with this whole idea of not caring about people think about you. And don't forget to check out my link in the description to get your free Audible trial. I'll see you guys next week.